Moin! Today I wanted to make a review of my Digitech RP355, which is a digital multi-fact processor. I wanted to do this because I don't think anyone has done one of this, and I want to talk a little bit about this. I have this thing now for more than 5 years, I think, so this is more a long-term review. I believe they've done an updated version of this, so it might not apply, everything might not apply to that updated version. Let's start with the on-off. So there's no on-off switch, which is a bit of a downside. You just plug it in and then it will boot. And then you have different presets on here, or you can go into the stomp mode and build your own preset, which is what I usually do, because I think it's nice to have all the or have 3 effects on here and otherwise have it clean. I like the sound currently for my band. So what I've done is I've built a preset where there's nothing enabled, and I can just go on like distortion or something and it will give me distortion or my chorus or my delay. So this is what I usually use. You've also got a tuner in here if you go on bypass mode, which is a little hard to access sometimes because you have to press them at once, which goes better by foot, like this. The controls are sometimes a bit difficult, especially because also the pedals are quite close, and sometimes when you play a gig you might touch the wrong pedal, and if it's really bad, you hit 2 pedals at the same time and suddenly you're in the stomp mode, which is or in the presets mode, which is a bit stupid. So that's also the downside of this specific one. And it's also got a wah pedal, which is actually pretty cool. You can also map it to a different effect. So let's go through the different effects you can have on here. So first off is a pickup effect. I don't know if anyone has ever used it in a good way. So basically it should simulate a guitar pickup like a humbucker or a single coil, so you can maybe convert it to another. So if you have a single coil on your guitar and you want a humbucker sound, you could use it, but I don't think it sounds very accurate. So I don't really use it. Then you've got the wah. There you can go to different sounds, and they all have different options, or some of them at least. So you can also adjust your min and max, which is quite cool, especially considering the price of this thing. I think it costs around 100 euros. And if you want to have a wah where you can adjust this, is at least 100 euros. Okay, that's an analog wah, but I don't think the difference is that big between them. Then you can use a compressor, which is also nice. I don't really use it because I don't need it for my sound, but you can also get different compressor models with also different parameters. So then we go to the distortion, which is also pretty good. I think it doesn't sound clean, but I don't think that's what it should do. Yeah, you have very different kinds of distortion. They are modeled after some effects pedals and other things, and you can just yeah, go and dial your parameters as you want them. Yeah, I think the distortion is definitely one of the highlights in here, because it doesn't sound too far from what you would get with an analog pedal. Yeah, if we go on, there will be the amplifiers. The amp models are pretty much unusable if you really want to simulate an amp. But I don't think anyone expected that, or didn't expect that. Yeah, it's just an multi-effect processor. So Guitaric, for example, will be much better at amp modeling. Also, yeah, I wanted to talk about a problem that this specific model had. I think they fixed it with newer ones. I've played a newer, smaller one of them, and that was fixed. And the problem is that there will basically be a low-pass filter on everything, which might be due to sample rate problems or something else. I don't know why they did that. Basically, what it does is, even if everything is switched off, you still have a difference in sound to the bypass mode. So if I would go from clean to bypass, and it would sound different, because it would cut some of the high end, which harms the quality a little, but it's not really bad if you want to use this just for rehearsals. I wouldn't use it in studio because of that, but I definitely use Guitaric in studio anyway, so yeah. Then you can also go and have an equalizer. Yeah, pretty basic EQ. Also not using it that much. Noise gate is pretty practical, because if you've got a lot of distortion, you can just put it on and you will avoid a lot of feedback. I don't know why, for example, a lot of PA or little mixers don't have these, because you get feedback all the time if you play like small gigs. And yeah, this is definitely a good addition. And you've got the effects, and the effects are quite a lot. The only sad thing about this is that you can't stack them over each other, so you can't have one of them and then another one, but you can just have one in this one. And they are quite different. Yeah, and you can also modulate different parameters of the effects with this pedal if you go to the expression section. Yeah, then we've got the delay. The delay is absolutely fine. I don't think it's that hard to have a good digital delay. There's nothing really that an analog delay has that a digital delay can't do if you don't want to do specific things like tape delay or something. So for a basic delay, this is absolutely fine. I use this a lot. Yeah, it helps get a big guitar sound without making it too washy or washed out. Yeah, also reverb. Don't use it because In the band context, it really brings a lot of mud into the sound, and if you really have a clean sound as a band, it might be useful, but we don't really have that, and so I don't really use reverb. And then you've got, but the reverb is also fine, so nothing to really complain about there. And you've got the expression section, where you can go to you can choose between the pedal and two LFOs, and you can map them to anything, like anything in this section, or specifically any of the parameters of those effects, which is pretty cool. You have a wide variety of sounds with this. Also, even though it takes a bit of time to get used to the controls and how you get what sound, and yeah, but once you've done that, it's really useful. Yeah, and then you've got also drum computer. I think the metronome in here is really worth it. The drums are kinda because the sounds aren't really good, but for practice, the metronome is absolutely perfect, because you can it helps a lot if you practice with a metronome and know how to use it effectively. Also, you've got a looper in here, which enables if you hold this pedal pressed. Yeah, I love this thing. I've learned a lot of guitar by just playing a riff and then improvising over it with the looper, so having the riff in the looper. So this helped me a lot. I think it has something like 20 seconds of looping time, which can be quite short sometimes, but yeah, still it's absolutely cool to have this. Also, it automatically starts if you go in the amp mode, then play a tone, and then it will start. You just have to stop it in the right time, which can be hard sometimes, but you can do it, I think. It will take some practice. Yeah, so this is pretty much the functionality of this board. Otherwise, it does have different, I don't know if you can see it, but different output settings, so it can go to mixer and amp. I think the amp signal is a little more, yeah, you can't really see it, but the amp signal is a little more cut, so less high end and less low end, and it's louder, and the mixer signal is a little more balanced, I feel. But yeah, I don't know, maybe this is just short for line level and some other thing. I don't know. Also, you've got two outputs, and you could also jack it up with your PC via USB, which I've done, but since the quality overall of the effects isn't that high, it will not be able to be better than Guitar Rig. So I don't really use it like that. Yeah, I think we're pretty much through. In those I don't know how many years, I've not really broken anything besides this pedal, but I kind of fixed it by sticking a little paper in there, and now it's okay again. I think some plastic piece broke there. I don't know why. Probably just usage. And yeah, it's pretty robust also. So I've had this standing in this room for probably 2 years now, and it's sometimes a little wet here, so, and it's still working like on the first day. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions or anything, you want to know anything about this Multifac processor, just ask me in the comments, and I will see you next time. Tschüss!